How are you? Because I just watched the first maybe like 25 minutes of
Oh,
the
okay.
show, and I was like, woof.
Yeah, I'm a tough cookie, and I don't internalize anything. I'm extremely grounded in my family. And so I don't really allow outside noise and judgment affect me. And so yes, it's still there's a lot going on months ago. Of course, what you watched happened months ago. And it felt like it was just a pile on of just, you know, judgment and headlines. And for someone like me who is introverted, I don't really like attention. It was a lot to consume, and I just had to kind of just check out and cut it off and just, really place my focus on what really, really matters in life. And
Mhm.
that's my family, the people in my house, my parents, my work, my job, my businesses, stuff like that.
Yeah, I can always tell, like, okay, Robin's making sure that, like, she doesn't do anything to embarrass her family. You thinking about
Right.
your kids. Do you know what I mean? Your husband. But
Right.
have you ever had a moment when the cameras go off that you just break the F down? Like you cry, like, have you had that? Because this seemed like this was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot back then. I have to like remember the emotions back then because I'm on the other side now. Of course, it's probably gonna be a lot reliving stuff. Um, but I learned that I'm tough. I learned that I've also learned that I am human, and so to have to feel the weight of the world coming down on me, that wasn't a comfortable feeling at all. And it was something that I was extremely grateful for my mental health, because I don't know, someone else in that same position, they might have broken down. They might have responded different than I did. They might not have been as tough. So I was just extremely grateful for my mental health. But I did have moments where, I didn't cry per se. I mean, even though you see me crying later in in the season in the trailer, and that's kind of a different emotion. Um, but I definitely was feeling the weight of the world, and I was feeling extremely stressed. Um, couldn't when I realized I was in the house, but I wasn't in the house, like, with my kids, my
Mhm.
kids are talking to me and I'm, like, not hearing what they're saying, like, that was a problem. And so I really just had to dig deep and just block everything out at some point and realize, it's temporary.
Yeah.
Thank God for Scandoval.
I know, right? The news cycle, we will move
Yes,
right on past to something else.
yes, that's what I mean, Scandoval came and I was like, "Whew, okay."
That is hilarious. It always seems like with Juan, it's like he knows that he's a part of the show, right? But I feel like he always is like, damn it, I gotta go film this scene. Like he doesn't always seem like
Yeah,
he's like you. I know you guys have your conversations, but you have to rehash the conversations. Was it
yeah.
tougher for him this time because it wasn't only just accusations of him cheating and then the things going on with his actual job at the school?
You know what? So I can say, like, in all of the previous seasons, yes, Juan doesn't enjoy filming. He's not one of those, house husbands, or like one of those guys that craves the spotlight, or has never had the spotlight. Like, Juan had the spotlight when he was in college. He was a basketball national championships champion. So he experienced kind of that type of attention. And so this platform to him is not like, exciting. It's actually kind of uncomfortable. So, but in all the previous seasons, he was always very concerned about his job and about saying, I'm a basketball coach. I can't really be, looking like I'm a house husband. Like, I can't be getting into the mess and
Yeah.
really, like, so he was very um careful about his job. And he always had that in the back of his mind. And so then this season, he actually, he lost his job, but he also he was like, you know what, all this mess about my name, he's like, I'm okay to talk about it and to, tell my story and, clear my name, whether people choose to believe him or not, that's on them. But he's like, I want to speak from my point of view because now he felt a little more free because although he was, of course, losing his job was heartbreaking, he felt a little more free to be able to talk freely and to be on the show a little bit more. And he's like, well, I don't have a job, so okay, I can film. I always thought it was funny when people be like, oh, Juan ain't never there. And I'm like, yeah, because Juan has a job. Like, what do y'all, I don't understand what y'all don't understand. Like, the man has a job. He has a very demanding job that requires him to give of his time and energy almost 24 hours a day. So, and we'll see season 8, Juan don't have a job, and you're going to see Juan, and Juan's going to talk because he's, just it, even though he's a very tough, thin, thick-skinned person, being accused of something you didn't do specifically with his job was not comfortable for him.
The ladies, Karen, Candace, and Wendy are sitting, and the topic is you. Candace feels betrayed. You know that. She was on Twitter saying, obviously a lot. Karen is being Karen, saying things. And then obviously Wendy has her take about it. They think that you're delusional. They think that it's an arranged marriage, that you and Juan, I think it was the word someone asked, do they even have where's the marriage certificate? So is there this witch hunt this season to figure out if you're really married, and all of that come up later?
It's funny that they say all that behind my back, because like first time I see them, they're not saying all that, and so that's interesting that you say that. And when the time comes to, address their questions, I don't back down from anything. I honestly, but like all that stuff is laughable to me. It's weird. It's like, I feel like people don't understand the concept of family these days. Of really, like, Juan and I have known each other since we were 17 years old. We have dated since we were 17 years old. And so when you have a relationship, a bond with someone that deep, you're not throwing them under the bus for some, people in the public, or, a bunch of ladies in a group. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to, yes, we have our own relationship issues, but when you've been together that long, you're going to have issues that you're going to either decide to work through and fight for, and a family to fight for, or not. And I believe in strong families. I believe in providing a loving and warm home for my children. And so when people are judging two people who have teenage children for the decisions that they make, and for fighting for their marriage, and for fighting for their relationship, and for working through things, it's like, where are your values? Where are your priorities? What don't you understand here? It's like when they're out there talking crap about me, it doesn't matter to me. It rolls off my back. You can be judgmental. You can forget that you're human and you're not perfect. And because there's people in those conversations that they're not perfect, their man's not perfect, they can do all that. And it's still not going to change the way I feel about myself, my husband, my children, my family.
Yeah. Well, we do see there's a breakdown where you cry. Do you feel like you were getting it this season? Like this was the season that they were just like,
no, that's not why I cried. You'll see. I don't want to give it up. It wasn't really about, them coming down on me. I actually address all of that head on. Like I said, it's very funny to me, all of the, backlash from the people say, oh, she lied and she's hiding things. I'm like, no, I've never been, I'm not hiding anything. It's just, there's some misunderstanding here. The timing didn't make sense for me to bring up some old issue about, this woman 5 months later. So anyway, I've never been one to hide from or back down from any type of issue or controversy, or, so if they got something to say to me, bring it on. I'll answer the question. I'm not going to sit here and do a dance and walk away like other people on the show do, or, oh my God, I can't believe you're talking about me. Like, I'm not doing that, I'll address it head on. It's like, not, that's what we're here for. So when you do see me cry, it's not because I'm feel overwhelmed by them, judging me or coming down on me. It was a very specific reason, and you'll you know, it was something that was more emotionally important to me. And you'll see why. You'll see what it is.